All right, so I just made a T4Cast talking about how much of a terrible candidate that Kamala would be and how terrible the Democrats are in general. And I mean, that was true. I ain't rescinding anything. But I was just thinking, well, I guess I think about politics all the time as I do listen to it all day at work. But I was just thinking on a deeper level. Usually I kind of just listen to politics on a surface level, nothing too serious. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, this election actually is ridiculously critical. Like, everyone keeps saying that, and they always say that, they try to make it out like, oh my God, if so-and-so wins, the country's gonna go and fall apart, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it's not, we'll be fine. But this time, those fears are actually true, which is kind of insane. It's like, it's ironic because the Democrats are always the ones that talk about, democracy is at stake here. And it's like, yeah, because of you guys. It ain't because the Republicans are going to do anything. It's because you guys are going to do something. And yeah, it's so weird. It's like, normally when you have candidates running for president or really any office, it's because they have like a love for their country, or let's say you're going to be a governor, you have a love for your state and you want to see your state be awesome. That's kind of like me. Like, someday I would like to try to be the governor of my state because I feel like my state is semi-held back and it has potential to be better, but nobody puts in the proper effort. And I have all these ideas and I'm like, you know what? Make me the governor. I'll whip this state into shape. But that's why I'd want to do it. I don't have any like, oh yeah, I'm going to destroy the state. And typically, relatively speaking, that's how it is with president too. Yeah, a lot of times president is because if you're a lifelong politician, becoming the president is like being the CEO of a company. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, I made it to president. Oh yeah, I got that highest position. Like, you don't really care. It's more just for, I don't know, the infamy or something. But still, at the end of the day, you still regard it positively. You're like, oh, the president of my country, I'll do what I can for my country. I care about my country. But this election is absolutely insane. Basically, your candidates are this. You have one candidate who is going to restore the country, get it back to where it was, get it even better than where it was, as well as a lot of other initiatives that he has planned in store. We'll get to that in a minute. But there's that on one hand, and the other hand is destroy the country. And literally, if this terrible candidate wins and gets 2 terms, there basically will be no country left. Yeah, I'm not saying there's going to be like nuclear war and everything and oh my God, the grounds are going to be all leveled. I don't mean no country like that. I just mean we're not really going to be a country anymore. We're going to have no national identity. We're going to be a struggling mess. The debt is bad now. Forget it's not going to matter what the debt is then. It's going to be blown way out of proportion to the point that we're just a bankrupt country with no national identity, and it's going to be like a Mad Max type situation. You know what I mean? Like, people are just living there and who cares? You're just living in some desert. There's no rules because they don't matter. And yeah. And basically, I'm not even saying that to be like, I don't know, fear-mongering or anything. There's a lot of evidence that proves that that's kind of how things go. First off, as things currently are, I mean, Kamala has no positions, really. She hasn't even done any interviews, okay? She just has, just like Biden, she has the whole Democrat machine behind her, pumping her up and working for her to just make her seem like she's so great. That's why she went from the lowest-rated VP of, I wouldn't say of all time, but definitely of modern history. Very low polling numbers. And also, when she tried to run for president herself back in, 2020? She got like 1% of the vote because, she's insanely unpopular and no one likes her and she just sucks. I mean, she's just like Biden, a perfect example of failing up. Oh, I've achieved nothing on my own but luck. I saw a meme that said, you ever see a picture that just makes you think, how did that thing get there? And it was, 4 pictures. One picture was a car up in a tree. Another picture was a car that's like in between a broken bridge or something like that. There was another goofy picture. And then one was Kamala Harris as VP. And it was like, yeah, I mean, she has no business being in this kind of high office at all. None. She basically failed the bar. I mean, she did fail the first time, and then she had to redo it. She, her position she had was because she was sleeping with Willie Brown, or whatever that guy's name was, the mayor of San Francisco at the time. And, senator, I think, how did she become senator? That might have been the only thing she actually won. But I think, wasn't there some kind of gimmick with that too? Like, there was no opponent or something, so she kind of just won by default. Well, I guess I'm going up against nobody, so I guess the position's mine. Like... And then now, why did she get VP pick? Because she's a perfect DEI candidate. She's a Jamaican Indian woman, okay, 3 things right there, who in a pinch can pretend she's black, so there's 4 things, like, and she's pretty dumb, which makes her a perfect option for the Democrat machine to manipulate, and she'll just fall right along, just like Biden. Biden is literally brain dead. I mean, he has Alzheimer's. So he's super easy to control. You just put a little earpiece in his ear. Okay, just do everything I say. Can you remember that? Yeah. Boom, same thing as her almost. Okay, Kamala, ready? This is what we need you to do. I'm too dumb to realize that I'm being told what to do, so I'll just do it. But anyways, yeah, she has no position. She doesn't deserve to be in that position she's in at all. I mean, geez, she's worse than Hillary. Everyone would make fun of Hillary being in her position, that she has no right being where she is, which is true. She doesn't. I mean, she was on the case for Watergate back in the day and got kicked off because what? She was having integrity issues with her work or something, ethics issues. And, like, really, she's only become mainstream, if you will, because of Bill. If it wasn't for him being governor of Arkansas and making it to the presidency, then she'd just be a nothing. She didn't earn anything that she has. She just kind of was able to ride his coattails. Oh, I was part of that Monica scandal because my husband, and he was the president, and so what do I get out of this deal? Oh, okay, we'll let you be in politics forever. Somehow you'll be relevant when you did nothing to earn it. But anyways, yeah, even then, she's more qualified because at least she's spent her whole life in politics, whether it's because she was with her husband and he was in the politics, or it's because she's been able to be shoehorned in. Kamala, she's just a loser. But, going on some weird big tangent, when I was trying to say how the country would be destroyed under her is because, oh yeah, that's what I was saying too. Now it's coming back to me because I said she has no policies yet, which she doesn't. She's got no policies. All you know that she cares about is, abortion. Abortion is number one. Oh, we're going to do blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that to get abortions back. I think her plan is to try to kill the filibuster, which is pretty psychotic and insane, and just destroy that right there is going to start destroying the country. We have a filibuster for a reason. It's so that nonsense just doesn't go through. If somebody opposes it, then they can oppose it until either A, better resolution comes along, or B, it just gets canceled. Like, okay, whatever, I guess you're not going to stop filibustering, so we're not going to do this. We'll try again at a different time. And she just wants to get rid of the filibuster. Why? Then Democrats can push all their nonsense. And what's some of their other nonsense? Oh, I don't know. Maybe what John Kerry was saying. Oh, we need to rewrite the Constitution because the First Amendment is too wide open and it allows disinformation and all this, which is again psychotic, because what is disinformation? Disinformation, especially according to a Democrat, is any statements or information that gets out there that does not fit the Democrats' narrative. So all of a sudden it becomes misinformation / disinformation, even though it could be true. And the Democrats' stuff could be a lie. Because they didn't say it, it makes it disinformation. And then that just becomes, wow, okay. So now this makes it even easier for them to censor everything. And then we become China. Now everything's censored. You can't say the truth, because if the Democrat machine doesn't want you to know the truth, that's against the Constitution now because we amended it. I mean, a perfect example is everything that happened with this recent disease. Which, notice that too, I have to say recent disease, because if I don't, then this video gets flagged, possibly gets taken down, because, I'm talking about disinformation, just like I've had on multiple of my other videos have happened, which is also stupid, because I don't have very many viewers, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm a huge channel and tons of people are hearing me. I get 3 views, and they gotta take my video down over 3 views? Relax. But that's how psychotic it already is. Now imagine if these changes happened to the Constitution. It would just get even worse. I mean, at least right now we have like alternate platforms. Yeah, YouTube might love to censor the crap out of you, but we have Rumble that you can go to. We have Twitter now, or whatever, X now, because of Elon. But if the Constitution were changed, all of that would be basically banned. You can't have Rumble that allows free speech. You can't have X, because even though it's a private enterprise, it would fall under the Constitution, which is, kind of overrides things. It's like, yeah, does it override? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, because I was just thinking like guns. I was going to say, the Second Amendment tells you can have guns, but then there are regulations on guns, like you can't own military equipment, so maybe X could still, I don't know. But still, I'm sure it would impact it. The Democrats would make sure that it would. Oh, well, we can change the Constitution so then X can still be exactly the same. It needs to be Democrat propaganda only. I mean, non-misinformation only. But yeah, so that's one little thing that would start to put some cracks in. Then another thing is, obviously they're allowing tons and tons of immigrants to come in illegally. Why? They don't care, because it's votes for them. At the end of the day, you think a migrant cares about this country? No. They're from country X and they're leaving it to come here. They don't care about here. They don't have roots here. They don't have anything here. You know what I mean? They don't care about it here. They don't even care about their own country. They're basically like a trans person. They expect you to respect their stupid pronouns when they transition, but yet they couldn't respect themselves enough for who they truly were. So I'm supposed to respect you for who you pretend to be? That's just like a illegal immigrant. They didn't have any love for their own country. You think they're gonna have love for our country? No. And the key word there is illegal, because those people are just, most likely scums, criminals, etc., who are just fleeing their country, maybe to escape the law or something, and they end up here. People that come over here legally, that's different. They still do regard their country. They just want to leave for a number of reasons. Maybe they just want to change a scenery even. Maybe they want more opportunities. They want to, go to college or something, and it's easier here than in their country, or whatever the situation might be. But yeah, so those people don't not have love for their country. It's just the illegals. So anyways, my point I'm trying to get at is, you think they care who they vote for? If who they choose, who they cast a vote for is terrible or not? No, because what difference does it make to them? They don't care. This country don't mean anything to them. And so since the Democrats allow them in, of course they're going to vote Democrat. Oh, who's the idiots that are sin? Okay, we're going to vote for him. For her. We'll vote for her. I said him not to put a dig on Trump. It's usually two guys, so it's kind of weird. One's not now. But yeah, and what? My voice, I did the little accent, F you. It's mostly Latino people, so, that's kind of the whole joke there. Trying to make like a Latino accent. I mean, I work with a guy who's Latino. I was basically mimicking how he talks. Anyways, back to the main story though. So yeah, and then so what's going to happen is their plan is to keep letting them come in. Oh, and that's another thing too. Like I was saying, who they vote for, they're not going to care. They shouldn't even be able to vote. That's another thing too. They're able to vote. Why? Oh, I've been in this country for 1 month. Oh, I get to go vote? Okay. Why? Which brings me to another thing that I always think is there needs to be some kind of obviously you have to be a citizen to vote. That should be a given. No, but when Democrats want to cheat, that's why. Because if it wasn't for Democrats cheating, Republicans would absolutely dominate the country. Most people identify with Republican ideologies and stuff. Just like regular grassroots people and all that. We don't care about dumb liberalism and abortions and trans rights and all this nonsense. We care about just regular, everyday, day-to-day life. You're on the fringe outskirts of things. If you're trans, that's your own issue. That's not everyone's issue. But the Democrats make it everyone's issue. And so, yeah, they have to cheat to get votes. Otherwise, it would always be a blowout. Republicans would just naturally win. Because nobody cares about the dumb Democrats' views and positions and stuff. Oh, do you want wide open borders? No. Oh, but the illegals do. So, boom, we got their vote. But yeah, so that's one thing, that you should be a citizen. Like, that's a given. That shouldn't even be a suggestion. It should just be an automatic thing. But the way our country's going right now, that's a suggestion. Hey, how about we make sure our voters are actually citizens? Yeah, that's a good idea, right? The other thing, though, is people need to take a basic civics test. Not civics per se, but I don't know, maybe something like a basic test regarding current political affairs. Because at the end of the day, there's so many people out there that are very misinformed, ill-informed, just dumb regarding current issues and general information as well. Not just current issues, just general information. Like, hey, when did we gain our independence? I don't know. Was it 1920? Like, no, idiot. July 4th, 1776. Are you serious? Like, that should be basic knowledge. So my point is somebody that's that brain dead, they get a vote that's just as important and equal to mine. Somebody who's way more intelligent than that to know that July 4th, 1776 is when the Declaration of Independence was signed. You know, and also politically informed enough as well, because I listen to political banter all day from all different angles too. It's not just straight up political. It's the socioeconomic political spectrum, it's the religious political spectrum, and it's regular politics that I listen to all day. Various different podcasts and stuff. So, like, I'm super informed. Why should some dummy who doesn't know anything get a vote equal to mine? Like, to put this into a different perspective, I would vote for Trump because I know all about his positions. I know how I paid attention to how he was when he was president last time. I like where he's going in his new direction as well. He's actually got a lot of awesome ideas to not only better the country, but just like top himself from last term. So he's got a lot of good stuff going on. Where Kamala, I know, A, her track record as an individual is just pretty useless. B, she's just a grifter. C, she has no policies yet, so why would I even consider voting for her when I know nothing about her? And D, let's not forget, she's currently part of this problem, which a lot of people seem to forget that. Like an obvious thing like that, oh my God, yeah, she's going to be changed. A lot of people, like there's that embarrassing interview, or it should be embarrassing, interview with Ben Stiller. And he's like, oh, I'm just excited about the energy and, you know, it's time for a change and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what are you talking about, idiot? Energy? You're excited about energy? Oh, she's got no policies. She sucks at life, but there's energy. I'm pumped about that. And change? You do realize she's the current VP and part of this disaster that we're in, right? What change do you think is going to come? Especially because normally when you say change, it means for the better. There might be change, but it's definitely going to be for the worse, which is what I'm still working on getting around to saying. I'm just taking all these side missions first and talking about them. But, yeah. So, but what I was trying to say is, let's take somebody like my brother, though. He don't pay attention to politics. He don't care. Jeez, he probably doesn't even know the two main parties. And if he does, I know he doesn't know the logos. And if he does know the logos, I for sure know he doesn't know which logo goes to which party. You know, like, he don't care about that. He don't know history because he don't care about that either. And, like, he's not going to vote, which is good. If you look at it in terms of, you know, being informed on issues, it's good that he doesn't vote. As most people that aren't informed shouldn't. But let's say hypothetically he were to vote. He would vote for Trump, but not because he likes any of Trump's policies or anything. It's because that's the name he knows. Oh, well, I know who Donald Trump is. I don't know who this Kamala girl is. Or however he'd say. He probably wouldn't even say her name right. That's why I'm trying to say it weird. I don't even know this Kamala girl. So I'm going to vote for Trump. And I bet you that's how tons of other people vote. But for Kamala, and most people voting for Trump actually know about him. You know, they support him for a reason. But the people that vote for Kamala, it's probably because a lot of them, not that they've heard of Kamala, nobody's heard of her, but what it is they hear what the TV tells them, that Trump, oh, orange man, bad. Oh, Trump is so terrible. You know, he has all these assassination attempts, but he brings those on himself. It's not because we keep talking crap about him and it's raising the temperature and making psychotic people get more psychotic. No, it's because he's terrible. And he does this to himself. And, oh, he's going to end our democracy. And, oh, this nonsense that we're making up and all that. So then somebody who's uninformed and that's all they hear, they're going to think, oh, my God, Trump is so terrible. I shouldn't vote for him. I need to vote for Kamala. Do I know anything about Kamala? Absolutely not. But the TV tells me that I'm supposed to vote for her. Actually, another example I can think of is back when I was in high school. I didn't pay attention to politics. I didn't care. I was in high school, okay? I was trying to do good in my classes, take all the honors classes, do good in them, so then I could have a nice-looking transcript, that way then I could get into any college I wanted to get into, which it worked, and I did. But yeah, I wasn't focusing on politics. I didn't care about that. But in, I think it was 11th grade, in history, they made you have to do not a debate, but you had to present an argument in the front of the class for which presidential nominee you want to vote for. And at that time, it was Bush and John Kerry. So what was that? Bush's second term, so 2004? Yeah, I might have been just starting 11th grade. And so, yeah, I chose Bush. Why did I choose Bush? Because, well, he was already the existing president, so I knew a little bit about him. And my argument in the front of the class was, I said, John Kerry looks like he's an idiot. So I'd rather vote for Bush. I think I started with, I don't really like either candidate, but if I have to choose, I'm going to choose Bush. One, he's already been in office, and I know about him, and I guess he's done okay enough. So I'm okay with him getting more time to keep doing what he's doing. And B, John Kerry looks like an idiot. I don't want to vote. I wouldn't want to vote for him. He seems like he'd be terrible. And that was my whole speech. How long was that? 15 seconds? That's what I did. I went up there, I said that, and then I went back to my desk. Which, of course, the teacher didn't like that. I think she gave me like a 0 on the project, said I put no effort in, blah, blah, blah. And then she gave me an opportunity to redo it, though. She was like, well, you can retry. And I was like, well, what the F? How am I going to research these guys? I don't watch CNN. My parents don't watch CNN. I don't, which... The irony saying CNN, because we know that that's Democrat propaganda, but still, I don't watch that crap. We don't watch C-SPAN. I don't pay attention to the news. I'm like, I'm not going to learn anything about either one of these guys anymore to be able to come up with something smarter. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, now if I had to do that, it'd be way easier, because it's part of my day-to-day life. But then, I don't know. So yeah, that's why I would have voted for Bush if I could vote during those days, because John Kerry seems like an idiot. And that's what a lot of people voting for Kamala think. Oh, Trump's bad. That's why I vote Kamala. I don't pay attention to nothing else. I have no brain. So yeah, that's why I think people should be required, A, obviously to be citizens, and not just a newbie citizen, be like a long-term citizen. Like at least be like 5 years. You know how like jobs will give you 2 years of vacation to start, and then you got to work for like 10 years or something, and you'll get a third year of vacation? Yeah, I think that's how it should be for a country. Like, you need to be a citizen for like 5 years at least, and then you can vote. Not just be a flyby, say, hey, I'm a citizen, don't let me vote. No, like, prove your mettle in this country, that you actually care, it matters to you, you're established here, you live here, you have a job here, you have a house or apartment here, like, you got roots here before you're voting. A, and B, like I said, some kind of a civics test or whatever you want to call it, just to gauge general knowledge. And you know, it should be something that's like a high success rate you need to have to be able to vote. You know what I mean? It has to be like you get a 90 or better, not like, oh, I got a 65 according to high school standards, that's passing. No, it's got to be like you get a 90. You got to know what you're talking about when you go into that booth and cast a vote. Then anybody that's scoring a 90 or higher would obviously be very well informed, and that means at least when they do cast a vote, it's not just some dumb nonsense what they're voting for, or who they're voting for, I should say. They actually know why they're choosing who they're choosing. You know what I mean? Not, I don't know when the Declaration of Independence was signed. I'm voting for Kamala because she's a girl, and I think having a woman president would be awesome. Wow. That's why you're voting for her? You don't have any actual reason that matters to the country? Cool. Great reason for your terrible choice. By the way, I'm not actually like talking about anybody when I say this. Yeah, I'm just making up an example. But you know that that's also a valid argument. That some idiot out there would say that they don't know when the Declaration of Independence was signed, but they're voting for Kamala because she's a woman and they think a woman would be great for the country. I'm sure some idiot has said that. Actually, it's probably one of those TikTok interviews that some guys do. Who are you voting for and why? I'm voting for Kamala because she's brown. Okay, that's the only reason? Yeah, and she's a she. So that'll be awesome for our country to get the first woman president. Oh, okay. You realize she's got no policies and that she's basically failed up her whole career so far, and the problems we have now, she's largely a part of being the VP and all that. Do you realize any of that, or are you just dumb and forgot that because they threw a coup against Biden and put her in his spot, and you're just like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, the second thing you said. But anyways, back to what we were starting at. Big, huge, long tangent out of the way, but there was a lot of information there to cover. I don't know what that weird stutter was that I had. Not stutter, but just a slip up or something. Some dumb tongue not working moment. So yeah. One, like I said, they want to change the Constitution for the worse. Two, which obviously if they change the First Amendment, then they'll just keep going. They'll change oh good, here's how you handle guns. Boom. Change the Second Amendment by getting rid of it and, making the stupid abortion, probably add an amendment to add abortions. You know what I mean? What are we up to? 27 amendments? So that'll be the 28th Amendment. Oh, yeah, abortions are a thing, which is so dumb. Why does that have to be part of a country's makeup? Where it's at now in the States is perfect. That's weird to have that as part of, your country's fundamentals. Oh, come to our country where you have freedom of speech. You have the right to own guns. You have this, that. Oh, and everyone has a guaranteed right to an abortion. Like, what? You do realize there's tons of other options for birth control, right? Maybe condoms, abstinence, maybe a really strong pull-out game. Maybe the guy could get a vasectomy depending on where you're at in your relationship. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you're just dating, well, then that's kind of weird. But if you're married, he could get a vasectomy. You could get not a hysterectomy, but whatever the official word is for a spaying of a human. You could get that. You could any of those options. I don't know why abortion's the only one that you guys see, but all right, cool. That's part of the country. Wow, that's very weird. But yeah, so that's one thing. The second thing, like I said, is oh, no, I didn't get there yet. I was talking about the legals. So then what they want to do is they're going to bus illegals everywhere and basically make them populate swing states. So a swing state will no longer be a swing state. It'll be permanent blue. You get enough illegals in somewhere like Minnesota or whatever where it's currently can go either way. And then, we got all these blue voters now, all these Democrat voters, and boom, now the state is blue. And then it locks in for Democrats moving forward so that Republicans have no chance. And then another thing that they might do, most likely would do, is A, add Puerto Rico to the country as a state instead of just a Commonwealth, and B, also make D.C. a state instead of just a district, which means now there will be 2 extra states that would both be strong blue, just like California, and then it makes it so that there's never a majority in the Senate, most likely never a majority in the House, because you get those 2 bonus strong blue regions. And that would also break code from how things normally are done, because normally, or when possible at least, so when states are added, they're added in a manner that it keeps things balanced, almost like the rule of 2 with, or not the rule of 2, just the regular, how the Force works in Star Wars. But, it brings balance. So, one state will be Democrat, the other one Republican. Perfect example is with Hawaii and Alaska. Ironically, when they joined the Union, Hawaii was Republican and Alaska was Democrat. But they've since switched, and now obviously Alaska is Republican and Hawaii is Democrat. But even still, you still get that balance. It's 1 and 1. They just switched. It's not like both of them are Republican now or both are Democrat. Ugh. It's still 1 and 1. And so doing this, you'd be adding 2, but both would be Democrat. You wouldn't be trying to maintain a balance. You would be cheating. And this is all the kind of nonsense that's going to happen if Kamala were to quote-unquote win. I say quote-unquote because there's no way hype and theory, or not in theory, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. There's no way that she should win. There is way too much hype and adoration for Trump that Kamala should not win. His rallies sell out like nobody's business. I say sell out. They're free, but you know what I mean. There's no space left in the stands. He fills up stadiums, no problem. People support him all over the place. You see flags and shirts and hats and everything all over the place. You barely see any Kamala support. There's like one loser in my town wears a Kamala shirt, and then I saw one brain dead idiot with a Harris Walls bumper sticker on their car, and like that's it. 2 people. But somehow, if she were to win, you know it's not legit. It's cheating. It's either the illegals, it's the same nonsense that they pulled in 2020, something. But yeah, so that's why it'd be terrible if she quote-unquote won. And like, then I was saying in the beginning that there'd be no national identity because there just wouldn't be. You'd have all these illegals here now, so there'd be no... it's like people are like, oh, white people are worried about becoming the minority in this country, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, yeah, there's good reason to. I mean, it's so to speak, it's our country, you know what I mean? Like, we've been here for a long time, so it'd kind of be weird to get overthrown at this point, you know what I mean? It's like if China got overthrown by something, I don't know, Middle Eastern people overthrow China. It would be weird, like, okay, it's been mostly Chinese all along for centuries, but now all of a sudden we're Middle Eastern, okay. But anyways, the other thing is the problem with the overthrowing of the white people is it would be all illegals. It would be people that are just basically criminals. Any way you look at it, they're a criminal. Even if they're not actively like going out looting and trying to vandalize stuff, they're still a criminal because they came illegally. Illegal, that word alone means breaking the law, which means criminal, which means you can be apprehended and arrested and thrown in jail and have charges pressed against you if things are, in a normal, sane, healthy system. So just by default, if you're an illegal, you're a criminal. But, so that's what would be overpopulating. So that's going to erode the country. I'm sure they're not going to be working. The government's going to be taking care of them, so that's going to erode things. That's where it goes back to what I was saying about the debt. Is going to get to a point that's absolutely insane, and then the country's just bankrupted. Nobody's going to be putting into the economic cycle. You're going to have all these illegals just running around stealing, just destroying everything. Businesses will be shutting down because of that. Like, it's going to lead to collapse, massive collapse. And then, because the United States is kind of like the center of the world for economic situations, for peace, stability, and all that, then that means the whole world is going to crumble. And then, like they say, World War III is going to break out, and it's just going to be terrible. It's going to be absolutely, incredibly terrible. It's not conspiracy theory or anything. It's just what it is, using facts and logic. So that's one option. And the other option is Trump, which really needs to happen. I mean, Trump, it's insane because Trump is the one that they deem as the bad guy, though. Everyone thinks of him as the bad guy, and he's the terrible option. And like, he's already had 2 assassination attempts, which is ridiculous. And then if he does win in November, which he absolutely needs to, he better win. It's not if, it's he better win. Like, geez, he needed to win in 2016, which he did do. He should have won in 2020, which unfortunately he quote-unquote didn't. But now he really needs to. But it's insane because if he does win, it's like, I'm sure the assassination attempt nonsense is just going to spike. All these freaks that were melting out in 2020 when he won are now going to be even more insane. And like, he's going to have to have like a bulletproof like shield around him all the time. Secret Service won't be good enough because those are just people. He's going to have like a Pope mobile because isn't that bulletproof? So he's going to have to ride around like a Pope mobile just because people are so stupid that they think a good option to be running the country is terrible because that's what they're brainwashed to think, and they're going to be acting like fools with their guns. But anyways, Kamala, terrible, but Trump, at least he's going to take care of a lot of stuff in day one. Yeah, they're worried, he said he's going to be a dictator. Yeah, first off, he was joking around with Sean Hannity. Him and Hannity are almost like boys. They hang out all the time. Hannity's done tons of interviews with him, so he's just like goofing around with this boy. Yeah, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. And then he follows up with, but that's it. I'm going to do what I need to do on day one, and then everything's going to go back to normal. Like, it's convenient you forget about day one, just like the dumb bloodbath they always like to whine about. Yeah, he said there would be a bloodbath, but it had nothing to do with the country. He was talking about the automotive industry. Way to leave that off, though. Make everyone think the wrong story because you can't fill in the blanks properly. Good job, Democrats and the mainstream media. But anyway, where was I going with this little tangent now? I said the bloodbath thing. I said, oh yeah, the dictator. So he's going to come in. He's going to fix everything. He's going to get energy independence back. He's going to end these wars. I mean, he says all the time he has ideas. He knows what needs to be done. He knows Putin. He has an idea of Zelensky. He's going to get them together. Boom, that problem solved. Then he's going to work with Israel. Boom, that problem solved. And then everything's back to nice and happy and peaceful. 2 stupid wars over. All this money wasted to Ukraine no longer happening. Because there's no more war, so you don't need money anymore. You should never have had the money in the first place. F you. I mean, Ukraine is psychotically corrupt. This moron Zelensky's probably been pocketing this money left and right, even though it's supposed to be going towards his country and his cause. But it's probably been $1 for my country, $1 million for me. $2 for my country, $2 million for me. Because, again, it's very corrupt. But anyways, that conflict resolved. Energy independence, back to where it needs to be. And then quickly over time, economic stability restored. Stock market looking great. Prices at a nice leveled out place. Gas prices very reasonable. Yeah, people might say, oh, well, gas is getting okay now. It's $2.90. It's like $2.90 now. Yeah, cool. You know why it's like that? 1, because election cycle. Duh, of course they're going to drop the gas prices. 2, it's not like it's because there's actually any plans that have been in motion to help stimulate that to be the cause, like was the case with Trump. No, we're going into our strategic reserves to pump more fuel out in these final days leading up to the election. So, yeah, of course gas prices go down because, now there's extra gas, but it's our reserves. That's like if you save money for, buying a house, and then instead you're dipping into that stuff, then you can get a nice new car. Okay, cool, you got a new car, but now you just stole from your house fund, you idiot. A house is kind of more important than a car. But anyhow, so there's that. And then the other thing with Trump is he's just building up an awesome team. Jeez, his team he had last time was kind of a bunch of ragtag doofuses, Steve Bannon, Steve Mnuchin, The best one that he had was not Kellyanne Conway, what's her name? Kelly McEnroe, I don't know her name, but the press secretary she had. Way better than these idiots the Democrats have had, what's her name now? Jean-Pierre, she's brain dead. Can't ever answer a question. She's a joke. And then you had Psaki. She sucked too. She was just as dumb. But somehow Jean-Pierre, or whatever her name is worse. Karine. KJP. But yeah, Kellyanne, or whatever the heck her name was, she was solid. She was on point. Somebody asked her a dumb question. She had a solid answer right there. Boom. Didn't have to look through her dumb notebook. She was ready to go. She knew her information. So that's like the only thing that really came good out of his administration as far as I can recall. But this new administration he's building up, he's got Elon Musk to be on his roster to help clean up all the government waste of space, I guess you could say, just like he did with Twitter, or X. He bought Twitter, turned it into X, and cleaned that up. What did it say? He laid off 75% of the staff or something like that? Or was it more, 90%? I don't know. He laid off a lot, though. Or fired, I guess. A lot. And look, the app still fundamentally functions exactly the same as it always had. So that means all those people were just useless dead weight, taking up space on the payroll, doing absolutely nothing, going on their dumb little tours. We got this breakfast booth, blah, blah, blah. Like those videos on TikTok of these people going to their dumb meetings and having their breakfast and their lunch. And I don't actually work. I just hang out at my job. Yeah, you got rid of all that useless dead weight. So that's exactly what you do to the government. Get rid of all these useless losers, tighten things up, boom, bam, done. Now everybody that has a job is going to be very efficient and, yeah, getting things done. So that's number one. Number two is JD Vance actually is kind of cool. I remember when I first heard his pick, I was like, who the F is JD Vance? Like, what is this random guy? He's kind of young. It was just like a weird choice. But now that he's been getting out and actually talking, it's like, oh, JD's actually pretty cool. I see why he picked JD. JD don't F around either. He's basically like a young Trump. You know, Trump says it how it is. He don't care. That's why a lot of people don't like him, because, oh, he's mean. Well, JD does the same thing, and it's like, all right, cool. Two guys that are just like, man, F you. You know, like I saw this one interview with JD, and he was like, look, are you going to ask me questions and allow me to answer, or are you going to ask me a question, I start to answer, and then you talk over me? Because if you're just going to talk over me, this is a waste of my time, and I don't need to be here. But if you actually want to learn anything about me and hear my responses, how about you give me that chance to actually speak, and then you can respond? And then the lady was like, and said something, but it was just funny, because it was like, that's like a Trump thing to do. Kind of like when he was giving a speech one time at the White House, and he says, I don't think, whatever she was responding to, she said, I don't think, and he said, yeah, I know you never think. And then she was, what was that? And he was like, you heard, what's your question? Let's go. But anyways, JD Vance, he's a pretty awesome, solid pick for VP. Then you got RFK Jr. He's actually going to be pretty awesome too. I know he's kind of semi like a nut, because he's got all this weird environmental stuff he's always worried about and stuff, and that's a little bit like the fringe weirdos worry about. But one thing that he wants to do, which I think is going to happen as part of Trump's team, is they want to tackle the nonsense of the food industry, meaning like high fructose corn syrup, red 40, and all this other garbage that they put in our food. And that is awesome. I've been against high fructose corn syrup for a very long time now. Probably 10 plus years, ever since I learned about it, and I was like, ugh, this stuff's terrible. Problem is do I still consume it? Yeah, all the time, because it's impossible to get away from. It's in absolutely everything. And if you live a normal lifestyle, like a lot of Americans do, working 2 jobs and having kids and all this, you don't have time to be worried about giving yourself a strict diet and all this. You know what I mean? You don't have time to be worrying about making your own homemade ketchup or whatever, so then you don't have high fructose corn syrup. So you're kind of just stuck with getting what's available, and what's available is garbage. And it's really hard to avoid even buying stuff that doesn't have it in there, because again, it's in everything. And then you check labels. Oh, high fructose corn syrup in this. Oh, high fructose corn syrup in that. I mean, it's even in the most random things that you would not expect. I forget now offhand, but there was something insanely random that I discovered had high fructose corn syrup in it, and I didn't think it would. It was, what the heck was it? I think it was like chicken nuggets or something. And I looked at the bag and it said high fructose corn syrup. I'm like, are you serious? In chicken nuggets? Don't quote me on it being chicken nuggets, but it was something like that ridiculous. Like, even in this, they put that crap even in meat. Like, it's just everywhere, and you can't get away from it. And so, yeah, and obviously we all know red 40 is terrible for you, but again, that's kind of in everything too. It's not even like in obvious things either, like, oh, that's red, it probably has red 40. No, they put it in things that don't even look that red. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure it's in like the blue Doritos, because some of those flakes are red, which means they have the red 40. But on the surface, that doesn't look red, so you wouldn't even expect it. Or else there's some kind of other thing. It makes a yellow food coloring. From what I understand, the yellow food coloring comes from, it's like a coal byproduct. And they used to put this stuff in roads to make tar with it and all that. And then some dumb British chemist, kind of ironic there, calling him dumb. He's obviously not dumb, but he's dumb for what he did. Discovered, hey, I can make this into like a food additive, which will cover up, you know, ugly looking stuff, food imperfections. Now it looks nice. Oh, it's just a nice yellow. Yeah, but it's terrible for you. It causes cancer and weight issues and this and that and the other thing. So anyways, from what I understand, that's something that RFK is also hot on. He's hot on healthy foods as well as the environment. And I don't know about the environment side of things, but I know the healthy food side of things, Trump's going to employ him to look into that and make changes there, which will be sick, to force the food industries to actually be healthy. Like, that's one thing I've been thinking about for years. I'm like, why doesn't any president do anything about this? I mean, you had Michelle Obama, even, who was trying to make kids be healthy, and, like, make their lunches healthier and encourage them to get out and exercise and stuff. And even she didn't have any influence to get anything changed, which I wouldn't say she would have the influence because she was only the first lady. But still, she was married to the president, and she could have tried to influence him to do something, and nope, nothing. So, like, this is pretty good if they get rid of high fructose corn syrup and go back to normal natural sugar. And if they go back to getting rid of stupid chemicals and things. And then everybody will just have better, easier access to healthy food and not have to, like, work hard to find it. And then pay way more because always the healthy stuff's more expensive. It'll just be there and ready to go. And, you know, anything you grab, you know, will be better for you because it doesn't have junk in it. It's kind of like, you know, I mean, because the high fructose corn syrup boom really exploded, like in the 80s and 90s? And we're basically the guinea pigs on this. You know, they never really tested it or anything. And now look, everybody's fat. Gee, I wonder why. Nobody was really fat in the 50s. Yeah, because you're using more natural ingredients. You're using sugar in your sodas and stuff. Also, portion sizes were smaller, but still, it was healthier, more natural ingredients. Now look, everything's processed and full of just trash. And everything has high fructose corn syrup, and it's like, duh, no wonder everyone's fat. We're not actually fat per se. It's just all the terrible chemicals that's just kind of sticking to our bodies. You know what I mean? There's a difference between real fat from eating too much and just trash. It's like me, I'm bulky, and I always attribute it to drinks. It's not even what I eat. I don't eat that much. I can't eat that much. It kind of makes me mad. I go to a buffet, I have one plate, and I'm full, and I'm like, this is dumb. What do I go to a buffet for? To eat practically nothing. Like, the point of a buffet is to pig the F out and have 3 overflowing plates and pack yourself. And nope, I have one plate and like a little wuss. I'm already full. And it makes me mad every time. So my point is it's not what I eat. I can't eat that much. I want to, but I can't. It's what I drink. It's my stupid coffees, how I like them. It's soda. It's all this other dumb junk I drink. And that's what's making me bulky, because there's just garbage in it. And I'm like, you know what? If I could just switch to water, I'd probably lose a ton of weight. Just because of switching off of highly trash drinks and switching to water. But the problem is water's boring. I've never liked water my entire life. I still don't. Even waters I do like I like Fiji water, and Life water's not bad either. And Body Armor water, that's not bad either. But, like, I just don't want to drink water all the time. It's too plain. I'll drink a big water, and then I'm like, oh, I need something with flavor now. It just doesn't hit the spot. A soda will hit the spot. It tastes good. It also quenches you, kind of. You know, so it does the job. A plain old water's just, okay, I guess I'm not thirsty anymore, but I'm not satisfied. But, yeah. So, anyways, that's something awesome, too. And then, I don't really know if he's going to be in any kind of position, or if he's just going to be, you know, kind of like a main figure for the Republican Party. But there's Vivek Ramaswamy, which, obviously, he's pretty awesome. He was a good contender for president if it wasn't with Trump. Obviously, Trump had to win the primary. But if it wasn't, he's a good option. I mean, I think what should happen is Trump needs to win. Then the next cycle is DeSantis for 2 election cycles. Then it can be Vivek for the next 2. And then you basically have, 20 years straight of solid Republican presidents that'll make the country just absolutely awesome. You know, that's what we need. But yeah, so I don't know what Vivek will be, if he's officially anything on the team, if he'll be a consultant. I don't know what he'll be. But he's still awesome, and he's a good option floating around out there for Trump to utilize, and so that could be good too. So it's kind of funny, because it's like Kamala just has the whole propaganda machine behind her. She has all the mainstream media and all that nonsense. But she doesn't really have anybody. Yet Trump, he's got all the people behind him, and he's got Vivek, RFK Jr., and Elon Musk. Like, geez, what a solid team of individuals to have with you. And they're all going to do something awesome for his presidency, for his administration, whatever you want to say. Where Kamala, what does she have? No policies, and just the media constantly covering for her like they do for Biden now. Like, oh, wow. I should vote for Kamala, though, right? Trump is so terrible. But yeah, you need Trump. He's going to restore our country. He's going to make it awesome. get it back to where it was, and then some, because these guys with their ideas, you're going to have Musk doing his thing, cleaning out the crappy government officials and stuff. You're going to have RFK Jr. finally cleaning up the food system in this country. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. You can't vote for Kamala. It's stupid to vote for her. She's a terrible option. Terrible. I mean, it's too obvious how terrible she is just on the surface. Look at her history. Nothing about her history says, oh yeah, this lady definitely should have made it to the VP and then definitely be in the presidential position. It's kind of like one interview I saw where somebody was like, oh, you can't look at how she was as the VP because being the vice president and the president are two completely different things. And it's like, are you retarded or something? If she sucked at being the vice president, what makes you think taking the actual big full-on position she'll be good at? Oh yeah, she sucked at her position. Don't look at that. She definitely needs to be promoted to the full-on big seat. Yep. She couldn't handle being only the vice, but she'll definitely handle being the full... What? How dumb do you have to be? What a normal smart society would say is, yeah, I know, she couldn't handle being the vice. She shouldn't be in any kind of high position anymore. She needs, if anything, she can be an advisor to the president, someone that's behind the scenes, not even on camera anymore, because she can't say anything intelligent. We need to forget what has been so we can become what should be. What? That's not even her phrase, but it's something as dumb as she would say, Or the significance of the passage of time is that time passes over time. Like, what? Or all the time, over everything. She laughs at the stupidest things. And she's just dumb. I saw an interview where somebody called her out in the debate back in, it must have been 2020. There was a debate for probably the presidential primary for the Democrats, and she was calling out Joe, blah, 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 whatever she said, you're kind of racist. And there was a girl back in, I don't know, Oakland or whatever that went to school, and that girl was me, and it's supposed to be a powerful moment or some nonsense. Coming from her, it was still weak and stupid. But then later, they're interviewing her saying, you said that about him in the debates, but then you agree to be his vice presidential pick, and she's like, that was a debate. A debate is a debate. It was a debate. And she kept just saying that it's a debate over and over again. It's like, okay, and? What does it being a debate have to do with anything? Who cares if it was a debate? You still were, going hard on him because he was apparently racist or whatever, especially against your family or something, or you felt it was against you. And now you accept the nomination to be the VP. What's the real reason, idiot? Don't just say, oh, it was a debate. No, that's what you thought in the moment. But then when an opportunity came for you to, work your way up, even though you don't deserve it, of course you're going to take, this guy I don't like, but I can be the VP? Okay. Don't ask me about what I said before, because I'll just tell you, a debate is a debate. It was just a debate. Debates debating debates. Debate. And it was the dumbest answer. And nobody even questioned her. The person interviewing her should have been like, what the F are you talking about debates now? What does that have to do with anything? Who cares if it's a debate? You still called him out on real policies that he had that you didn't agree with, and now you're going to chalk it up for it was just a debate? What? Oh, I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about. I'm like, man, you got these dumb leftists that had that huge meltdown. The famous meme girl with her butch hair and the winter hat, the beanie, and her green jacket, and her meltdown, no, because Trump. And it's like, he was a good option, stupid. Hillary would have sucked. All the nonsense happening now would have happened 4 years earlier. At least we had an extra 4 years of good times. But it's like, these same brain-dead morons think Kamala should win. And it's like, if she does win, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is great. But normal people are going to be like, oh boy, what does this mean? Like us, we're not going to have stupid meltdowns like that one. No, but we're all going to be like, uh-oh. We need to have a backup plan. This can't happen. I don't know. It's just some stuff I've been thinking about a lot lately, and it's kind of been stressful. It's kind of like when you're a kid, and if you think about death, it really can, stress you out, because you're a 7-year-old and you're like, I don't want to die. And you start having panic attacks and you're like, I got to choose the subject in my head. What's the matter with me? That's like this. If you really start thinking about this election, it's like, holy crap, there's really two options, a very good option and a very bad option. And it's insane that that's how the options are, that they are the exact polar opposite. One is very, very good, and one is absolutely terrible. And it's like, how is it this so far apart? Normally the options are decent and all right. You know what I mean? They're pretty close to each other. One, okay, he's all right. I guess he's okay. That's normally how it goes. Now one is, oh, we need that, and that, no. That cannot happen. Like, it's, oh, man. This is the weirdest election cycle ever, and just hopefully Trump wins. He has such a solid team around him. The huge majority of the population supports him. Like, he's got everything going for him, so he should win, but, Democrats love cheating, so we'll see, but, yeah. Anyways, Kamala sucks. Biden has sucked. Democrats just need to, I don't know, just become Republican advisors and that's it. Because at least Republicans won't go crazy. We're not going to destroy anything. Democrats, they will. That's why they can't have power. They will destroy stuff and mend things to their weird psychotic leftist agenda. And it's not good. Republicans, we'll just keep things the way they are. We're not going to destroy anything. It's just going to stay the same. And there'll be little things that happen to make things better. Hey, we can work on reducing inflation. Hey, we can get gas nice and cheap for you. Those are good things. We're not destroying anything. We're just making things a little better. But anyways, I've been sitting here in my driveway now for about 10-15 minutes just trying to finish this up. So I guess I'm done. That's all I got. I hope you listened to this thing all the way through. If you did, thanks a whole bunch. Maybe share these. I do have, 50-something of these that I've made. It's just me talking. Like a standard podcast, just you can't see me like a standard podcast. But, yeah, thanks for checking this out with me. And until next time, I said see ya.